With the first pick in the 2023 NBA Draft, the San Antonio Spurs select...
Hey, welcome to the NBA 2K23 REVAMPED MyCareer series, y'all. Episode 1. Now, let me take you guys back a little bit. It's Miami, Florida, November 2022. There's a young kid, shooting guard, about 6'6", sitting on the University of Miami's bench. Not really getting much playing time at all. He would come in garbage time, put up a couple numbers. Sophomore guard, looking to get his turn, and that turn would come. One practice, starting shooting guard gets injured, and coach says, "You're up." Biggest game of the year so far against the Florida Gators. Big deal in the state of Florida. Two powerhouse universities. While sitting on opposite sides of the state, the rivalry was still intense. Now listen, this was Ty's first chance at getting real playing time, becoming a starter after the injury, not putting up much numbers at the beginning of the season yet. He's ready to show why he belongs in the starting lineup. Now Florida's offense features two NBA prospects, one being Trey Davis, at this point with the number 8 prospect in the nation, averaging over 29 a game early in the season, and the other one being Zach Valentine, a really good three-point shooter whose game can translate to the next level. Now early on in the game, the intensity was high, the crowd was cheering loud, and it got the tie because he turned the ball over early on and was looking a little jittery out there on the defensive end, but nonetheless, he got it going on offense eventually, found his stroke, and listen, you guys will learn, Ty might be one of the best shooting prospects in this draft. Great form, not the greatest defender, but he does make up for it on the glass. This man is a great rebounder, and he's not the greatest handle, but at the end of the day, he knows his strengths, which is shooting, and he's not afraid to let it fly. He has a very unique shooting form, a lefty, and not the most willing passer, but he will pass when it needs to be done. And listen, defense is something he's going to have to work on throughout the college season, but nonetheless, his shooting will carry him throughout, and it carried him throughout this game as he scored his first 20 points of the season and 4 rebounds as well in his first career start. And Miami ended up walking out of Florida with a dub. It's time for Saturday night primetime college hoops, December 5th, 2022. Miami travels across the country to face the UCLA Bruins in LA. And listen, UCLA has a couple of guards they may give Ty some problems, but Ty is ready. This is his second career start, nationally televised game. This is a big chance for Ty to make his name ring across the country. He's going against a big time guard in DJ Reed II, who is currently ranked number 6 by ESPN on the NBA mock drafts, but it didn't matter to Ty. Ty came out with his own plan, ready to let it spark, and the teammates trusted him more. He noticed he was getting more plays ran, more shots up. He added a little kick to his jump shot that helps him get more arc on the 3, and in turn, he had one of the best performances you'll see in college basketball, shooting wise. This man was killing UCLA with his jump shot. The lefty had it going. His teammates were finding him all across the court. He was coming off screens, coming off curls, shaking his defender, and shooting over his defender as well. And he turned up his performance against one of the best prospects in the country and finished the game with 34, 7 rebounds, and a kiss to the sky as Miami walks out with the dub. January 12th, 2023. We advance later in the season into conference play here in Miami, Florida. We have Georgetown in the building. And listen, at this point, Ty is cooked up. He's averaging almost 19 a game with 8 rebounds. Again, he's not the greatest passer in the world, but that's not why he's on this team. That's not why he's starting. He's starting to put up points and get boards, and that's exactly what he did against Georgetown. Now, Georgetown did have a featured guard in Amari Mathurin, which we'll see later, but at this point, it didn't matter who was in front of Ty because all Ty saw was the basket. Now listen, Amari Mathurin is the number 19 prospect by ESPN, and Ty Cook is still not ranked, and he took that personally. While Miami has not had great team success this year, Ty Cook has been cooking up for the most part, and he felt like he deserved to be ranked at this point in the season, but he still had more to prove, and he decided to take out all of his frustrations against Georgetown at home and dropped a career high 37 on 8 rebounds and finished with a dub. Now you guys might be wondering, man, is there a bump in the road coming? January 20th, 2023, we're in Miami, Florida again. Syracuse comes to town, and listen, Syracuse is the number 1 ranked team in the nation, only losing 1 game out of 16 at this point, and their offense features a 3-prong attack in the backcourt, which we'll get into in a second. But just know, Ty had his hands full this game, and he may not look worried, but listen, this man got a little flustered throughout this game. Now at the beginning of the game, he's calling out the play. He has Andrew Tate Jr. guarding him, and he scores over him, and it looked like it was about to be buttery smooth, but this man, Andrew Tate Jr. is a problem, which is why he's one of the top prospects coming up in this NBA draft, and Ty struggled. On offense, this is one of the first games of his career since starting that his shot was just not going. And on the other side, the aforementioned Andrew Tate Jr., who averages 23 and 10 and was currently a top 3 prospect by ESPN, had it going, and he also had Ty locked up. Ty was not cooking this game. He had his worst performance of his college career, turning the ball over late in the game, forcing frustration fouls. Teammates tried to cheer him up, knowing that he's better than this. They remembered the guy that was on the bench cheering them up when he was coming off the bench. He had free throws late in the game with a chance to tie, and I'm not gonna lie to you guys, this man Ty missed one, came back, and missed the second one, and the game eventually was over. They ended up losing to Syracuse, and This was not a good look for Ty this game, but he did finish with 17-5. And hey, Miami is not making the NCAA tournament with their poor record, but Ty's focus remained getting to the league. February 25th, 2023, we're in Chapel Hill, North Carolina. Miami faces North Carolina to close out the regular season in the ACC. That means it's going against top prospect Kevon Perkins, ranked number 17 in the NBA mock draft, and a big task for Ty. Now listen, Ty was still not ranked. ESPN still did not believe Ty was a top 30 prospect. Thus, he had a lot to prove in this last game, and it started off a little rocky. Kevon Perkins is a big body guard who was getting after Ty. Ty was ready for the task, he's used to this. He was a little tired at the beginning, which thus caused him to be lackadaisical on defense, giving KP easy looks, and he had to lock in. This is the last collegiate game of his career. He did not come this far to fumble. Listen, it wasn't that long ago where he was giving out high fives, handing out water, shaking guys' hands, coming off the bench, cheering for his guys. Now he's the one being cheered on by his teammates, his coaches, his university to make it to the next level. And this is a big deal. He's going against a guy in Perkins who has an NBA frame, and this is what you'll see more or less at the next level at his position. Now, one thing Ty definitely has to improve on at the next level is his handle. He doesn't have much of a natural bag, which causes him struggle getting open against bigger defenders, which will be a problem at the next level if he doesn't continue to improve. But one thing that doesn't need improvement is that jump shot, man. This man is one of the best shooters college has ever seen, and thus causing him to close out the regular season in style and in typical fashion to Ty. And while his collegiate career was coming to an end, his journey was just beginning. He closed out the season with 29 points, 12 rebounds, and a victory over North Carolina. And while Miami was not invited to the NIT or the national tournament, Ty Cook received an invite to the NBA Draft Combine Showcase game in Chicago, Illinois on May 18th, 2023. Now, this game features some of the top talent across the country, and they competed in the game to earn themselves a higher pick in the NBA draft. And this is the best of the best. This is who the NBA feels like NBA teams are ready to bank their lottery picks on coming up in this NBA draft. And a lot of people are raving, saying this is going to be one of the best NBA drafts in a long time. Now, Ty faced a lot of talent during the course of his college career, but we're seeing guys that we have not seen at this point. Guys of them all across the country, different walks of life, different shapes, sizes, and forms. Guys that have cousins and brothers currently in the NBA. Guys that are ranked so high, Ty is wondering how he even got an invite when he was unranked for the better part of the college season. But it just goes to show you, not about how you start, it's about how you finish. We went from giving out handshakes and high fives to now competing against the league's best prospects with a chance to be a lottery pick. But just because he got invited to the game doesn't mean his job is finished. He has a lot of work to do. He did finish the regular season averaging 22, 9, and 2 assists a game, but this was his last chance to prove to the scouts that he was much more than just a standstill, knockdown, three-point shooter. He already was averaging the most rebounds by any guard in the nation, but maybe that's not enough to impress the scouts. They said this draft is generational. That means we got to do something extra. You got to provide a little bit more to make a team want to take you with all his talent. And in this game, on limited minutes, he did drop 19 points on very efficient shooting, and he grabbed 15 rebounds, which led everybody in this game. But was that enough? Hey man, let me take y'all around the NBA. Now this is my NBA. This is the 22-23 season. I basically did a resim with a fantasy draft. You got players all across the nation, across the country, across the league in different uniforms, man. It's crazy. You got Andrew Wiggins, Karl Anthony Towns, and James Harden leading the Boston Celtics against Jason Tatum, DeJounte Murray, and the Philadelphia 76ers are open tonight. It was just wild. I got players on uniforms that you just never would think. But of course, NBA 2K fantasy draft is unpredictable I should say, and have LeBron James and Damian Lillard still on the same teams respectfully, even though Lillard just did request a trade, which is kind of crazy to think about. But there's a lot of free agency going on right now, so I just didn't want to use the rosters in current day because players are moving day to day, and I wanted to start the series off with a little twist, with a little shebang to it. Hey, if you get drafted to the Detroit Pistons or the Cleveland Cavs, don't worry, bro. They got all-time legends on the team, man. Wow, the Cavs have a generational talent for the first time in their history. Awards time. I went ahead and sent the rest of the season out, and I did include this year's rookies, which means Victor Wembanyama is the NBA Rookie of the Year, and of course he's a unicorn, but this man is on the Sixers with Jason Tatum and DeJounte Murray. It's crazy. And LeBron James at 38 years old is the Kia NBA MVP, wearing number 18 for the Lakers, which is insane. But this man won MVP at 38, which might mean good news for us rookies, bro. If the oldest dude in the league is winning MVP, who knows? Now, NBA Defensive Player of the Year award goes to none other than Giannis Antetokounmpo for, yes, the Golden State Warriors. Now, obviously, there's no Curry, no Clay, but nonetheless, seeing Giannis in the Golden State jersey is crazy. There goes some other awards I didn't feel like including their little highlights for. John Wall, Sixth Man of the Year, Sengun, Most Improved, and shout out to Nick Nurse, getting the Sixers to the best record in the league, but it did not matter because the Hawks beat the LA Lakers with Trae Young putting up 33.5 points a game and 11 assists. and win the NBA title. Wow. We advance forward to the NBA draft lottery, where a lot of teams and players will see their futures rise or fall the pick of a ball. And the Charlotte Hornets get the number 1 pick, followed by the Thunder and the Nets and the Utah Jazz in the top 4 and 5. And listen, Hakeem Jam of Texas Southern is the projected number 1 pick as of right before the NBA draft, when Ty Cook is projected to go number 21 to the Golden State Warriors featuring Giannis. And here we go, y'all. I need you guys to buckle up for one of the best NBA drafts of all time. We're here in Brooklyn, June 22nd, 2023. The first pick, Charlotte is on the clock, and they ended up selecting the 6'10" small forward Trayshawn Cook from Clemson. He's compared to KD and Brandon Ingram with a bigger build. He's a great scorer, one of the best players apparently in all of college basketball, and Charlotte felt confident enough to take him with the top pick. Until we have a trade to announce. The Charlotte Hornets trade Trayshawn Cook and the 2nd round pick to the Oklahoma City Thunder for the rights to the 2nd overall pick. I've never seen this before. The number 1 pick has just been traded to the number 2 pick, and now the number 2 pick becomes the number 1 pick, and the number 1 pick will be Trey Davis from Florida, who we competed against. And this is bizarre, man. I've just never seen this before. The number 2 and 1 picks were swapped, and now this draft has just gotten a lot more intense. The number 3 pick is at stake as the Brooklyn Nets trade the 3rd pick and Devontae Graham from Mikal Bridges and CJ McCollum to the Rockets. And now the Rockets have acquired the number 3 overall pick in this draft, and they decided to take DJ Reed II from UCLA, the 6'9" combo guard that we also faced against early in the season. Wow. Clearly nobody is safe in this draft. The Utah Jazz select Shabazz Owens with the number 4 pick, small forward from Georgetown. And right here we have yet another trade, as the Houston Rockets, who just picked up DJ Reed, trade him and Devontae Graham, who they also just got, to the Utah Jazz for the number 5 overall pick. And then they end up getting Steven Wilson at number 5, basically for DJ Reed. And then they had the next pick, and they end up taking a 6'7" shooting guard, Jayshawn Rice from Duke, with the number 6. And then Duke gets back-to-back lottery picks as JT Chills, a 7'3" athletic center, goes to the Dallas Mavericks. And now the Houston Rockets are on the clock again and get the projected number 1 pick, Hakeem Jam, the hometown hero from Texas Southern, Houston, to go to the Rockets at 6'11", a big body. And then they have yet another pick and select the Texas kid Caleb Williams from Baylor University. Wow, Houston is on a monster's roll to start this draft. The Indiana Pacers end up selecting Andrew Tate Jr. from Syracuse, a familiar face, and Ty is just watching a lot of his familiar college foes get drafted in the lottery and is sitting there wondering, like, man, what didn't I do in college to make me get this high? But he still waits his turn. The Tristans trade their pick to the Charlotte Hornets, and the Charlotte Hornets select MJ Jones from Kentucky, who was the strongest man in college, with the 12th pick. Stewart goes to the Pacers at number 13, a big body shooting guard, and the Pacers load up in the backcourt. Giannis Antetokounmpo's cousin, Joseph, goes with the 14th pick. Sebastian Toothsturdy from Penn State goes to New Orleans Pelicans. Again, a lot of guards are getting selected higher than Ty, and he wonders, will his name be called in the 1st round? Did he slip? Is this a Cam Whitmore situation? He was projected to go low in the first place, but still, it was like watching a lot of people that you used to beat up on get picked ahead of you. Nonetheless, we're approaching the pick where he was projected to go. With the 20th pick, Trey Miles goes to Boston, and here we go. The Golden State Warriors are on the clock, and they decide to go with the 6'9" small forward from Michigan, Shea Silva, and he watches as picks go by and his name is yet to not be called. With the 23rd pick, the Tyree Carter from West Virginia goes to the Raptors, and at this point, Ty is wondering what his future is. But ladies and gentlemen, the wait is over. Ty Cook has been selected with the 24th overall pick by the Oklahoma City Thunder. The 6'7" kid out of Miami that used to ride the bench is now riding off into the sunset after this draft into Oklahoma City. And listen, the first thing I could think about after this draft was how insane and lit this summer league is about to be, y'all. Listen, whether you have a player or not, you have to tune in to the summer league coming up, which I will be dropping in the next episode of this series. And I'm excited, y'all. Please let me know in the comment section if you want a player or not. If you want a player in this series, Follow the instructions in the comment section I will have, which is really simple. All you really have to do is join my Discord, and there's a player section where you fill out a template and make one, so you can see your player get drafted in future draft classes. And if you sent me a template already, do not worry. We already have the 24 class loaded up and ready to go, and we'll be adding to that as well. But in the meantime, it's your boy Sal, and as always, I appreciate all the support. And until the next episode, it's your boy Sal. I'm out. Peace.